My new book, 6 Truths. Here. 6 truths. Live by these truths and be happy. Don't, and you won't. Truth be told, get it, truth? This is not the first time I've held this book. I hadn't gotten my copies in, and the local bookstore in my town got their copies before I got my copy. So I walked into the store and I said, can I hold my book for a second? And they said yes, and so I held it like this. I was like, and then I put it back down and walked out. I'm very excited about this. It's been a long time coming, as you know, books take time to write, and to hold it is pretty great. I'm still old school that way. I prefer reading books rather than ebooks, and I definitely, the books I've written, holding the physical book is like, as hard as it is to write a book and have it come out, and I think it's probably a lot like giving birth, or so I've heard. I mean, I don't know, maybe book writing is more painful. Look, I don't know. But it is kind of like, you know, you create something and then you put it out into the world. And the creation part is hard, and it's struggle, and it's everything that you potentially would think it would be. I learned early on, before my first book, I talked to the publisher and said, just let me know when you need the book by. I'll get it done. What an idiot. First of all, I was late by over a month. I had no idea what I was getting into. Now I know. You know, having had experience now with this being my third book, I have a little better idea about how to get that done. But it's a struggle. It's hard work. It's not as romantic as people might think. To be a writer, it feels good, but there's some nights where it's not enjoyable, like at all. But in some ways, this is the hard part now. This is when it's out in the world. This is when you start to hear things. And look, I don't hide the fact that I quit all social media in 2018 and I've talked about it in this video on my channel and in my podcast, that it's part of the reason I did it is because it allows me to be more inward in the work that I do, so that I'm not concerned or distracted by outward influence, that I can get deep and say, okay, this is how I want the book, or this is how I want the song that I've written, or whatever I put out into the world. I want it to be as true to me as it possibly can be, and then I release it into the world. The change is that I would always, in my history of doing things, shut myself off in a way during the creation process. Now I just shut myself off from even the feedback process. I don't read reviews. It's tempting, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's just not fruitful. I mean, review the book and great, because if it gets people to read the book, unless you don't like it, in which case, go fuck. I try to just kind of shut it off. So the reason I titled this video, it's out of my hands now, because it truly is. I mean, it really, really is. I can promote it. I've been a guest on a bunch of podcasts recently, and people are having me on, and it's really nice. But how it's received in the world is truly out of my hands, and having that liberation means I'm free to create again, to write another book if there's, one coming, and I think there is. But anyways, more on that later. But to be able to continue putting things out into the world. If we're so clued into what will people think? Oh my gosh. I mean, that is the reason why people work on a screenplay for 1,800 years, and never quite finish it. It's fear. I've got to get it. When you can let that go for the most part and really get in touch with how you want the thing to be that you're making, and that is truly the most important thing. If you're proud of the work when it goes out into the world, it is absolutely and factually out of your hands. There's only so much you can do. You can talk about it, but how people receive it, you have no control over that. And understanding that and knowing that is pretty darn liberating. So anyways, here it is. The 6 truths. Live by these truths and be happy. Don't and you won't. Pick up a copy. If you want to. It's on Audible. It's an audiobook. I didn't read it myself. Listen to my podcast to find out more about that. But it's on Audible, and it's on Kindle, and it's the physical thing. So I hope you dig it. I really like it. It's short and little chunked up in little kind of quick things. Like there's a truth title right there. But it's snippets. It's like grab it and pick it up and grab a couple pages and move on and come back to it. And I think it's fun to read. I hope it's fun to read. But hope you enjoy. Okay? Cool. This is an exciting day. It's a good day. It's a good day. Oh, and I finally nailed down my AeroPress process, like I've got it dialed in now. It's been a while and I've tried different methods. I have dialed it in. So subscribe to the channel and look for a video coming soon on the ideal AeroPress process for me, but for everybody, let's face it. And I think it's appropriate for the work I do to have a video on my AeroPress process. Oh my God, that is so good. I also roasted the beans myself, so there's nothing, you can only do so much with crappy beans. So I've got the good beans, so AeroPress or not, it's gonna be pretty darn good. Man, is that good.